What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. For all latest Dodgers news, rumors, hype videos, podcasts, you're going to find it right here. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, hit that like button, and give me all your takes down below in the comments section. I want all your takes on the Padres starting rotation down below in the comments section. And for all latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So the Super Bowl is just 2 weeks away, and you know what the greatest thing about the Super Bowl is, right? It means that baseball is right around the corner. So we're going to start looking ahead to the 2021 season, and this is the first video of a new series. We're going to be breaking down the Padres versus the Dodgers, the matchup that everyone is talking about, LA versus San Diego, the kingpins of the West, the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the upcoming Padres. Can the Padres take over the NL West from the Dodgers? Can they prevent the Dodgers from winning their 9th straight division title? We're going to find out this season, but we're going to start today by looking at the Padres starting rotation. So San Diego has some great beaches, from Coronado Beach to Pacific Beach to La Jolla Cove Beach. They got some great beaches, and San Diego made some big splashes this offseason. From trading for Blake Snell to trading for Darvish, they add the 2018 Cy Young Award winner coming off a very dominant postseason, a Game 6 of the World Series where he was shoving against the Los Angeles Dodgers. They add him, and they also add the Cy Young runner-up from 2020 in Darvish. And just when you thought they were done, they made a trade with the Pittsburg Pirates for Joe Musgrove. So Preller has been very aggressive this offseason. He's been able to keep most of their elite prospects, but he's definitely going for it in the NL West. So we're going to look at that Padres rotation and see how they stack up to the Dodgers rotation. And I know there's people out there that want to bring up 2015 for the Padres. The last time they went all in. They added Matt Kemp, Upton, Will Myers, Kimbrel, and then what happened? Bud Black got fired mid-season. But there's no question that these Padres are much more talented. They have more depth than those Padres did, and I think the expectations are justified. I think they are a legitimate contender in the NL West, so I can totally see why Padres fans have been celebrating all offseason. So look, some people, including myself, like to have some fun with Padres fans, but it could be worse. It could be the Giants fans. Here's the Giants fans still celebrating the 2014 World Series. So the Giants are always going to be the Dodgers' bitter rivals, but for this season and probably the next few seasons, it's going to be the San Diego Padres. And Dave Roberts, he was asked about the San Diego Padres. He was told that the Padres are coming for them, and his response was, bring it on. So I think Dave Roberts and the Dodgers, they're reignited. They're energized by this rivalry, and it starts with starting pitching. And the first up, I think the ace of the staff this year is going to be Blake Snell for the San Diego Padres. So let's look at this Padres rotation. So I think this is how they'll have their starting rotation lined up this season. I think you'll have Blake Snell as the ace of the staff right there, starting on opening day, followed by Darvish, then Dinelson Lamet. I think Lamet is the big wild card. Is he healthy? You saw him throwing a few weeks ago. It looked like he's ready to go, but we'll find out, because if he's healthy, that changes everything. I think he's as talented as anyone on this staff. To me, he's the best pitcher on the staff if he's at 100%. And then they made the trade for Joe Musgrove and then Chris Paddack there at the 5 spot. So Paddack, he definitely had his struggles last season. We'll see if he can rebound this year. Now, Blake Snell, the 2018 Cy Young Award winner, he's posted a 2.85 ERA across 337 and 2/3 innings over the past 3 seasons. He's had a 32.1% K percentage. Very solid numbers. The only issue with Blake Snell is, can he go deep into games? There's been so much talk about Kevin Cash pulling him from Game 6, and that's because they don't want him to see the order the 3rd time around. And the reason for that is the Rays are a very analytics analytics-driven organization, and the numbers told them that in his first time around, he had a 2.26 ERA, a 2.47 FIP in the first time around. Then the second time, a 3.54 ERA and a 4.20 FIP. And then the third time around the order, that number jumps up to a 4.97 ERA and a 4.48 FIP. So you definitely see that drop off. He starts strong, and then he starts to run out of gas during his outings. Now, he's pitched 115 games in his career, and of those 115 games, he's made it into the 8th inning on 4 different occasions. In those occasions, he's faced 9 batters. He's given up a double, 3 singles, and a walk. He's never made it into the 9th inning in his career. So if the Padres think he's going to be this horse, this innings-eating ace, I don't see it. I mean, it's going to be an adjustment, and can they manage him like the Rays did? Look, Kevin Cash and them, they knew how to manage Blake Snell for every game except Game 6 of the World Series, where they should have left him in there. But do they know something about him that we don't? Is he an injury-prone player? Is this going to be a Chris Archer trade where the Pirates traded for Chris Archer and you saw what happened to his career? I hope that's not the case. I like watching Blake Snell pitch. And over his career, the last 3 seasons, 337 and 2/3 innings, he has a 2.85 ERA. He's held opponents to a 2.06, 2.79, 3.50 slash line. And I think he could be that ace, but he's going to have to prove it with the Padres. Look, he's had some great years, but he's also been very inconsistent throughout his career at times. But when he's on, he's virtually unhittable. We saw that in Game 6 of the World Series. So as far as him being ace of the staff, I would still pick Walker Buehler over Blake Snell all day, every day. There's really no question about it here. You saw what Walker Buehler did in the postseason. A 1.8 ERA in over 25 innings pitched. He has a 2.35 ERA in 11 postseason starts. So I'm still going with Walker Buehler when it comes to Blake Snell versus Walker Buehler as far as who's the ace of each team's staff. And then at number 2, we've got Yu Darvish versus Clayton Kershaw. So Yu Darvish was outstanding last season. He finished second in the Cy Young voting. He posted a 2.01 ERA, a 2.23 FIP. That was second lowest in all of Major League Baseball. Had 11 strikeouts per 9, a 31.3 K percentage, a .961 WHIP. And I think the question with Yu Darvish is, which pitcher is he going to be? Is he going to be the pitcher he was in 2020 where he was really dominant, or is he going to be that pitcher from 2018 that had a 4.95 ERA, or 2019 that posted a 3.98 ERA? And will he continue to keep the ball in the park? Because last season he had a .6 home runs per 9, and in 2018 that number was at 1.6. 2019 it was at 1.7. So the strikeout numbers have been consistent. It's just keeping that ball in the park for Yu Darvish. And if you can do that, he could be a legitimate number 2 ace. There's no question about it. Now, when it comes to him versus Clayton Kershaw, Kershaw pitched very well last season. He posted a 2.16 ERA, and he had that uptick in velocity. You were seeing that fastball clock in at 92, 93, sometimes 94 miles per hour. And if you can continue to stay healthy and keep that fastball velocity at that 92 to 93 mile per hour range with that slider, with that curveball, I still give the advantage to Clayton Kershaw. Look, he was very consistent in the postseason. He got that World Series monkey off his back, and as long as he can stay healthy, I'm going to give the advantage to Clayton Kershaw. But this one's actually much closer than you'd probably realize, because Yu Darvish, if he can pitch an entire season in the NL West, going up against lineups like the Los Angeles Dodgers and put up those same numbers, then I think they could be very close. But Clayton Kershaw, even in the twilight of his prime, has proven he can navigate his way through potent lineups like the Padres, and he just knows how to pitch. I think this one's a lot closer than you realize, because Yu Darvish is one hell of a pitcher, but for the moment, I'm still going Clayton Kershaw until proven otherwise. I got Clayton Kershaw over Darvish. And then for the number 3 spot in the Padres rotation, Dinelson Lamet. Now, El Flaco is the real deal. Last season, he posted a 2.09 ERA, a 2.48 FIP, a 2.05 ERA plus, an 8.55 WHIP, a 12.1 strikeouts per 9. He's got one of the best sliders in all of Major League Baseball, and he was shoving against the Dodgers this season. He went 7 strong, had 11 strikeouts, and if he's healthy, this guy is elite in every sense of the word. I'm just worried that he's not going to be 100% healthy. There was some talk that he wasn't responding well to treatment, but then he did post that video where he was throwing. He looked like he was throwing pretty well, so we'll see. But to me, there's no question. I would take Lumet over David Price at this point. I would take him over Julio Urias, over Dustin May, or Tony Gonsolin. Now, if the Dodgers were able to sign Trevor Bauer, things would be different. I think Trevor Bauer would get the nod over Dinelson Lamet, especially considering the year he had last year. Look, this would be the Dodgers rotation with Trevor Bauer, and if you look at that, that is a dominant rotation right there for the Dodgers. We'll see what happens with Trevor Bauer. Look, Trevor Bauer could even sign with the San Diego Padres, so we might have to revisit this depending on where he lands. And then next for the Padres, Joe Musgrove. So Musgrove is another wild card for the Padres. He actually put up a 14.4% swinging strike rate. He plays 10th in the majors in strikeout percentage at 33.1%. He ended up posting a 3.86 ERA last season. He's 28 years old. He's from San Diego. I think he's from La Mesa down there in San Diego. And this is a guy where if he can replicate the season he had last year, that could be a big-time boost for this Padres rotation. But I do think that's a big if. He has a 4.33 career ERA. He's only posted a sub-4 ERA once in his career, and that was last year. So will those strikeout numbers regress to the mean a little bit next season? I think you would have to expect that if you're San Diego. Look, at 12.5 strikeouts per 9, his previous high was 8.3. So maybe this is who he is now, but I think that's another question mark. But I don't think Joe Musgrove will be a starting pitcher for the Dodgers. I don't think he'd earn a spot in the rotation above guys like Urias or May or Gonsolin. I think Gonsolin is going to bounce back from those postseason woes and be more like the pitcher he was in the regular season when he won Baseball America's Rookie of the Year. And I think Dustin May is going to take that leap. 23 years old. I think he's going to take a leap this season. And then Urias, the confidence that he built in that postseason, the Urias, I think is going to come to play this year. So next you have Chris Paddack. Now, Chris Paddack is one of the most hyped pitchers in recent memory. A lot of talk about Chris Paddack being the next ace down there in San Diego. Well, he definitely had an off year last season. The issue with him was the life on that fastball just wasn't there. Didn't have that same zip to it as he had in years prior. Now, the changeup was still very effective, but for some reason, even though the velo was slightly higher, that fastball was getting rocked last season. Opponents were slugging 658 off his four-seamer compared to 391 the year before. They're hitting 308 compared to 204 the year before. And really across the board, from his ERA to his whip to his fib, everything was trending in the wrong direction last season. He ended up getting rocked in the wild card series against the Cardinals, goes just 2 1/3, gives up 6 runs. But I will say for Chris Paddack that I think some of the pressure will be off of him this season. With Blake Snell, Darvish, more experienced pitchers on the staff, I think there'll be less pressure on Paddack this year. I think he just continue to develop. I don't think he's ever going to be that ace that they thought he was going to be, but I do think he can be a solid number 5 starter potentially. He can be a solid pitcher for them if things start to turn around down in San Diego. Now, I still think the Dodgers have the advantage when it comes to starting pitching. If they add Trevor Bauer, it's game over. If they add Bauer and they make that Bauer move, the Dodgers are way out in front. And if the Padres add Bauer, then they start to really close that gap. So it's definitely a very intriguing rotation with a lot of potential. And if things break there right, it could get very interesting in the NL West. But for right now, I'm still going with the Los Angeles Dodgers. They have more depth, more upside with their younger pitchers. And then I'm interested to see when they'll call up Mackenzie Gore, their number 1 prospect and the number 2 prospect in all of Major League Baseball. So I'm excited to see how it'll pan out. I still think the Dodgers have a much deeper rotation with the best pitcher of any of them in Walker Buehler. And the Dodgers have their own wild card in David Price. So I still like the Dodgers starting rotation over the Padres starting rotation. In the arms race in the NL West, advantage LA. But let me know down below in the comments, who do you think has the better rotation in 2021? Is it the Los Angeles Dodgers or is it the San Diego Padres? Give me an LA for the Dodgers. Give me an SD for the Padres. So drop that down below in the comments section. And then for all the latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. That's at DMac_LA. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.